boy, we made it.
They didn't say it would happen. They said it would never happen.
Oh yeah, they all said it wasn't gonna happen. These three jabronis, they ain't never gonna get this ship off the ground. It just ain't gonna happen. No way, no how. But damn it, baby, we did it. We launched RAWBall last night and got a pretty damn good football game out of it. Even though I'm not big on high scoring games, but it
hit for the parlay. So
hey, I was $84 richer this morning, but then I went and bought a case of beer and 2 packs of smokes. So now I'm $33 and change richer. So I'll take it. It's been a bit of a rough day when the cap count hits 16 and you have to get up at 6:30 a.m. to work. Things are not always as pleasant as you might wish, but here I am, what's left of me, and here they are, what's left of them.
You're looking good.
Get the reverse Matty Laws and Devin Laws. Oh, boys. Well, here we are, the actual first weekly pod. We had no script for last night, and we've got even less of one today.
Shooting off the hip.
We got 2 topics for y'all today.
We're John Wayne. Well, I mean, we've got 2 big ones, and then I'm sure other shit will filter in.
Oh, yeah.
So, purveyor of shit bets, how much money did you make last night all total?
Unfortunately, because Patrick Mahomes, I believe, might have set a record for most touchdown passes with the least amount of yards in the Super Bowl. Because I believe he passed for either 3 or 4 touchdowns, and he only had 182 yards. So that killed a lot of my parlays, seeing as I had him to throw for at least 200.
Oh.
But the team ride hit, and honestly, that's all that really mattered last night.
Yep.
Gronkowski's kick of destiny happened, and it was all based around if he could just put foot to ball, and he did, and we made money off of it, boys.
You realize normally when foot gets put to ball, some guy falls down crying.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, Gronkowski, when he missed, did fall down and was holding his hand to his helmet. So
it's a good thing it didn't matter if he made it or not. It was just a huge gimmick of him just kicking a ball.
Gronk's known for his gimmick. Gronk's definitely got a gimmick. But yeah, the Chiefs unfortunately won the Super Bowl.
Hey, one hell of a season, boys. One hell of a season.
It wasn't really ref ball. That one. I know people like to think that one call can change a game, and in some instances it can, but Philly lost that second half because they bent and broke. They could not hold Patrick Mahomes in that offense.
They were 0 sacks allowed on the Chiefs end.
One sack,
and that was on the Eagles. The Eagles got sacked.
And you're not going to defeat the Chiefs unless you can just bring the pressure to Mahomes.
You have to rattle Patrick Mahomes. And
that rattle him, straddle him, scramble him, battle him. You got to be in his face. It's like that was always the trick to beat Brady. You had to be in his grill constantly.
Yeah, because he can't think if he doesn't have time. And unfortunately, the difference between Brady and Mahomes is Mahomes can make his time. Mahomes can scramble around to where he's able to scramble around to where Brady was more. My guys on the line have to protect this pocket.
What did Hurts' stats wind up looking like?
I'm gonna go.
Yeah, I'm not gonna
hop over to that real quick. I will say this was in my opinion, one of the best Super Bowl games we've had in a long time.
Yeah, 100%. The game was a solid game. Like Cap said, it wasn't really a ref ball game like the Chiefs versus the Bengals.
Again,
it was just 2 good teams against each other.
And yet all anyone could talk about today was
the holding at the end of the game.
No, it was Rihanna.
Oh yeah. That's all I'm seeing.
I actually have a fun story about that. One of my coworkers, because I start talking about the game, she stops me and she's like, it was awful rude of them to put a football game around Rihanna's baby shower.
Yeah.
Hey, and I got to hand it to Rihanna after 5 years of being on the shelf. You know, that like I
Being
was
an
telling Maddie today.
entrepreneur. Oh,
Well,
Miss Maggums.
Mags.
Hello, Miss Maggie.
After
Hello there.
5 years of being on the shelf, to come back and have that kind of a performance, that is just pure natural talent coming through because you can't
Insane.
teach that because normally you're going to have some rust. And she didn't look rusty at all.
No, she was in her prime form.
And I mean, she looked damn good too.
Yeah, she did.
But to answer your earlier
Hi,
question,
baby,
Cap,
hi.
to answer your earlier question, Cap, Jalen Hurts went 27 for 38, 304 yards with one passing touchdown, to where on his legs he ran for 70 yards and got 3 touchdowns. He had 4 touchdowns in the game.
Tying with TD's rushing record as a running back.
Yeah,
And he did it as a quarterback
Davis.
for 3.
Yeah,
Just
your
crazy.
lady actually was making the point either last night on Twitter or something saying that, well, you know, the NFL is going to ban the quarterback sneak starting next year.
Bro, we said it a lot during the game. I think them using the victory formation to push a quarterback sneak might
It's
be
smart.
one of the smartest ideas I've seen from Nick Sirianni.
Absolutely.
You put 2 of your biggest sons of bitches behind Jalen Hurts, and you tell him to mush.
Yes. It definitely helps you. Well, you remember we were talking about USC earlier. You remember the Bush push in the Notre Dame game.
Oh, yeah.
It helps when you've got a whole ass grown man or 2 or 3 behind you pushing you.
Whole ass grown man.
Whole ass grown men. Yeah. What did Kelsey wind up with? What did his numbers look like?
Travis
no
Kelce
one could cover him last night either.
Travis Kelce put in a game, but you know, it's
I think
Travis
he had
Kelce.
one receiving touchdown though.
Yeah, he had
It wasn't
one
too many
TD.
pick
He had
plays.
1 TD, 6 catches for 81 yards. He was Mahomes' number 1 target in the first half.
Just another day at the office for TK.
And Devin had heard somewhere incorrectly that they said this was Travis Kelce's first Super Bowl.
It was from the mouth of his own brother.
He was with the team when they won in 2017. So yeah, no, Travis Kelce, 2-time Super Bowl champion.
Good on
Just
him.
like Patrick
Deserving.
Mahomes.
So looking into the future, using our little crystal ball that we all have. So Mahomes now has 2 rings. And Christ, I never thought I would even think this, but Brady's got 7. Mahomes has 2, but Mahomes is what, 25 years old?
Career.
Yeah, 26, I think, 27.
He's 5 years into his career.
I think he's 27.
27, okay.
Quarterbacks these days play 17.
Quarterbacks these days like that are playing until they're 40.
Mm-hmm.
So let me bring up my little.
However,
quarterbacks
that run around like that don't.
All it takes is one knee injury.
Well, let's just say 4. Let's just call 40. Just a base. Start with a base number 40. He's 27. You said, Bev.
Yeah, about.
So 13 years.
I see 5 rings altogether.
You think 5? He gets
1 hand.
Okay, so that would mean 3 more rings in 13 years.
It all depends. Is Andy Reid going to keep coaching? Because
not another 13 years.
Definitely not that long. But
he's not going to live another 13 years.
We do know that Patrick Mahomes has this engine that just does not seem to stop whenever it's game time.
Yeah.
Even when it's his foot that's hurting.
I don't think.
That's 2 back-to-back games where that ankle took a pounding.
And he still kept going.
When we look at.
And he also, not to interrupt you, Natty, but didn't he have problems with that ankle a couple of years ago as well?
The season that they won the Super Bowl, yeah. He had another high ankle sprain that season as well in the playoffs. And again, averaged 350 passing yards and 3 touchdowns.
Let's also consider this. He hasn't suffered a major injury yet.
No ACL tears, no Tommy John.
Even Brady had one of those. So we know he's going to miss at least one season to a major injury.
He has to.
So that would leave him with 12 seasons. So let's dial it back. So we got, if we're using 40 as our base age, that means 12 more years. I'm trying to think. Dev's 3 super.
Yeah, Patty is 27. That is confirmed.
Okay, so that would give us say 12 more years of him playing, minus a season for that big. And every quarterback gets that one injury every year that knocks him out for a year. So 12 more years. How many more rings? Dev says 3. So that would put him at 5.
I hate to say it because I know he's not leaving Kansas City anytime soon.
No, he signed a 10-year deal.
Yeah, 10 years.
What, 2 years ago?
Like 500 million. Like, no, he's
half
there.
$1 billion.
He set up shop.
And Kelsey just said that he plans on
You
playing.
realize how much ketchup you can buy with $500 million?
Yeah, Travis Kelsey
Too much.
on the Super Bowl post-game show. Travis Kelsey said he plans on playing nowhere else but Kansas City. So
yeah, just like
we
Brady
got,
and Gronk were.
Yeah, I was about to say we got the
1-1, and then
Mahomes-Kelsey
will be
connection.
1-1.
The Mahomes-Kelsey connection is going to last quite some time.
That almost sounds like a tag team, the Mahomes-Kelsey connection.
With
our
our
ring at this time at a total combined weight
of big beefy bitches.
And
Caramel
Curly Kermit.
whole ass grown men and big beefy bitches.
In all honesty, Reed will probably coach. I want to say another 3 seasons. I want to
Really?
Say
63?
63, 64. We looked this up the other day. He's got, I want to say, another 3 seasons. I don't think he's coaching till 70.
I feel like he's going to finish with Mahomes.
He will. I think he's retiring with Kansas City. But
yeah, I mean, he's not going to go anywhere else.
Yeah,
but
other than maybe the Fox table.
more like the dinner table.
Yeah.
Starts his own Food Network show.
Please do not put ideas into this man's head. I love Food Network, and I do not want to watch Cooking with Coach Andy.
Cooking with Reed.
Wolfing it with the Walrus.
The Walrus. Yeah.
Yeah. In all honesty, I see Patrick Mahomes possibly breaking Brady's Super Bowl rings.
So
really?
That would mean that breaking or tying?
Breaking. That means 7.
8. No, that would be 8.
Yeah, 8.
So that would mean in 12 seasons he has to win 5 more Super Bowls. No, 6. He's got 2. He would have to win 6 Super Bowls in 12 years. That's every other year. That's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, but I see Mahomes has the talent for it. I hate the bastard for it, but Mahomes has all the talent in the world to do it.
I had all the talent in the world to do many things with my life, and what did I wind up doing with it?
Look at us.
Yeah. But I also, here's the flip side of that. The Super Bowl hangover, who's it going to affect? KC or Philly?
It's hit KC.
Kansas City hard the season that they won the Super Bowl. Yeah, they made it back, but what happened to them in the Super Bowl? There was injuries galore leading into the game.
Well, and also Mahomes' contract hurts them as much as it helps them because it prevents them, because the way that contract and any big contract like that is structured, it goes up.
It's why they had to get rid of Tyreek last season, right?
Yeah.
But look at that. It didn't really affect them. They kept Mahomes with the money. And
true, but apparently so Juju said today he wants a long-term contract. They're paying Kelsey. They're paying that defensive tackle, Jones.
Yeah, Chris Jones.
I mean, you can only pay so many guys big numbers. And as Patty's contract creeps up, it's going to be tough to keep him surrounded by talent, especially offensive linemen as he gets older, to protect his ass.
They'll never do it, but just imagine the cap hit if they were to trade Patrick Mahomes ever. They would be so fucked for years.
That would make the alimony in my most recent divorce hearing look like chicken feed.
Doesn't he have like a guaranteed like 350 mil on that already 500 mil contract?
Because he had like a good portion of it guaranteed.
Yeah. Well, see, here's why I mentioned the Super Bowl hangover. Are we convinced that this Philly team wasn't a one-year wonder? Obviously, Jalen's very young. Sirianni's very young. They're both in their second year with the team. But when I look at Philly's roster, I don't see the star power, the star talent that I see on Kansas City. That's why I wonder if Philadelphia is going to – they came so close, but yet it's like, is this going to weigh – is this going to – like you remember it was the year the Panthers and the Patriots were in the Super Bowl, and the Panthers came so close to beating the Patriots, and then the Panthers just crumbled.
Yeah, I was about to say, and the only people that those Panthers had were Julius Peppers on the defense. I don't even think Steve Smith was their wide receiver yet.
They had Steve.
They did have Steve Smith. Okay.
Yep, they had Steve.
And they had Jake Delhomme at quarterback.
Yep.
Like, you look at that, there's two stars there, really. It's the young Steve Smith.
Well, look at speaking of the Panthers, look at the year they played Denver, how they went to shit.
Yeah, they had Greg Olsen, young Cam Newton, looking like the MVP player of the year.
Cornerback.
Well, Newton was the MVP that year.
Oh, he hit MVP that year?
Yes,
yeah, he was the MVP that year. And Carolina went to shit.
Yeah, Cam was one of the first unanimous MVPs.
They were 15-1 that year.
Yeah, I remember being a bandwagon for that team that year because I wanted to see them beat the Broncos. But we all saw how that went.
But you look at that team that went 15-1. They had a lot of stars. They had Cam Newton in his prime. They had Greg Olsen. They had
Luke Kuechly.
Luke Kuechly.
They had a lot of star talent on that.
They also had that cornerback. He went to Washington eventually.
Stephen Gilmore? Didn't they have young Stephen Gilmore?
No, that was the Patriots, not Gilmore.
No, Josh Norman.
Josh Norman.
That's who it was.
Yeah.
But like you see those star players, and then we go hop and look at the Eagles. Kenneth Gainwell, Miles Sanders, Boston Scott, Dallas Goedert, Zach Pascal. Who the fuck are these guys?
I was about to say, I think Sanders is a star.
Miles Sanders is a rising star, and Kenneth Gainwell was a beast throughout the playoffs. But my point
Goddard is I mean, the fact that they shoved Ertz out of town for Goddard,
that's still crazy to me. But the three people that they had as big stars for this game is the three people you'd expect: Jalen, AJ Brown, and Devontae Smith.
Yeah,
and all three of those guys showed out because they had to.
AJ Brown had something to prove that entire season.
Looking at the NFL draft.
AJ Brown had 96 receiving yards on 6 catches. Devontae Smith had 100 even on 7 catches. Jalen Hurts ran for 70 yards.
Hurts outplayed Mahomes, but the Chiefs outplayed the Eagles.
100%.
And we got to give it to that offensive line for the Chiefs. They were unbreakable that game.
They did
letting
not let
no sacks.
Through.
Very few tackles Mahomes had to take. He had a lot of time to just sit in the pocket, move around a little bit, shuffle, get the passes off to the right time.
I wonder if so the Eagles actually got sacked twice that game.
Okay.
I thought it was 1 sack.
All right, so let's look ahead here a little bit. The NFL draft is the first round is Thursday, April 27th, which we'll be covering in some combo of us. To see at least how the first round goes. That first round's always big.
Hey,
what?
I got news.
You got news? What?
Apparently, Eric Bieniemy is not going to be with the Kansas City Chiefs this year.
I heard that.
Kansas City Chiefs just lost their offensive coordinator.
Interesting how that's going to play out and who they're going to pick up.
Well, I think Reed is the play caller, right? Andy Reid is the play caller.
Yeah.
So that doesn't do too much on that side.
Yeah, Reed is. the last time he relinquished play calling duties was when Matt Nagy was their OC, and they also, I think that was the last year that they had the guy before Mahomes.
Smith?
Yeah, I think it was Alex Smith, wasn't it?
Alex Smith, yeah.
For some
Because I
reason,
can't remember any other quarterback after him. I don't even remember his backup when he got injured.
Chad Henne.
Chad Henne? Yeah, I don't. Who?
No, it's funny because when I think of the Chiefs, I like to think of their era of irrelevancy with Trent Green and Matt Castle.
Ooh, at least I knew Matt Castle.
But I also can't say that because Matt Castle also once took the Chiefs, I believe, 13-3 in a season. So
what year was that?
It was the first year he came from New England.
Yeah, Castle almost got the New England in the playoffs. They went 11-5, but they lost on a tiebreaker.
Mm-hmm. And
so I'm looking ahead here to the NFL draft.
You
obviously we know
talk about this. I'm not in it.
I don't think we are either for first round.
No, Ravens have a pick. I'm getting.
We do?
Yeah. So I'm looking at the draft. We know the Bears are taking
first two.
The big dude, Chase Young, right?
Yeah. No, they're. I don't think that they're going Bryce Young. I think it'd be dumb if they were to go for a quarterback.
No, not the defensive, the big defensive guy.
Oh yeah. From Ohio State, right?
No, Georgia. Is it Georgia? I think is where the guys. I forget the dude's name.
We'll get better at college football, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I barely pay attention. So Bears have 1, Houston has 2, Arizona has 3, the Colts have 4.
I genuinely think that the Bears might trade their first pick for some form of impact player.
Well, now here's where it starts to get a little interesting. We're at number 5. Seattle has 2 first-round picks thanks to
Denver.
Which is the one they got from Denver is the 5th overall pick.
Oh, motherfucker. Seattle's going to get fucking CJ Stroud. I watch it. Seattle's going to draft CJ Stroud.
All right. So then we got Detroit at 6. Detroit's they've got a lot of wiggle room. They can make some noise. Number 7.
They need to get a star wide.
Number 7 is my Raiders.
That's not a good draft pick this year.
There's not a quarterback in the league or that's coming into the league I would take at 7.
Mm-mm.
At this point, I'm taking defense because our defense is shit. Our offensive line is shit. I'm taking the best defense or offensive lineman there.
I was about to say there's a couple good offensive linemen from Georgia from the national championship team going into the draft.
So 8 is the Falcons, whatever. Carolina at 9. Eagles pick at 10.
Ooh.
Hold on. Wait, the Eagles pick at 10 from whose pick?
The Saints.
Ooh.
Who did they get rid of? Was that the Zach Ertz trade?
Yep. That was the Zach Ertz trade.
So that was smart. They traded Ertz, got to the Super Bowl, and now have a 10th first-round pick.
That just shows how much Zach Ertz means to teams still in his older age, that he's still worth the first-round pick.
I'm looking at teams that have 2 first-round picks here. So Houston has the 12th pick that they got from Cleveland for Deshaun. So Houston has 2.
Houston has 2.
So they're picking second. Houston's picking 2nd and 12th. And then the Eagles are picking, where was I at here? Eagles are picking 10th. Titans pick 11th. Did they have another one up in here? No. So Titans are picking at 11.
Watch them take another wide receiver.
Jets got 13. Patriots got 14. Packers have 15. Washington 16. Steelers 17. Okay, the Lions have 2 first-round picks.
Where are their placements for the Lions? They're early
and middle.
Early and middle?
So the Lions have the 6th and the where was I here? They have the 6th and the 18th.
6th and 18th. Those are 2 solid drafts.
But
for a first round.
If you look at it, what the Lions are really needing is they're needing a defensive star. Like Devin said, they need a wide receiver, but I say that they're going to go for like a linebacker or something.
I feel like they could use a solid linebacker.
They need someone to be like a ball hawking middle of the field defender.
They need that good left outside because they're slacking on the left side of their defense.
So do you think what do you think the Raiders would take the chance on CJ Stroud coming out of Ohio State as quarterback?
Depending on what they fully get out of Carr and depending on how the free agency is looking too.
I was about to
if
say,
you guys pick up Rodgers.
No, Carr said he's not going to waive his no trade clause. They're going to have to cut him. They're not going to get anything for him. Yeah. So we got Tampa Bay at 19. Seattle picks 20th. So there's theirs. Chargers 21. Ravens pick 22nd.
You guys did that well this season to pick 22nd.
So,
fuck yeah.
Dev, here's the question to you. You're the Ravens. You're on the clock. Day one. If you have Lamar, who are you going for? If you don't have Lamar, who are you going for?
So I don't know any names in college, but looking at like how our line is set up on O-line, D-line, we got some good defensive linemen. We're
the offensive
slacking.
Line looks like a rusted piece of fucking plywood.
Yeah, no, there's that. There's our offensive line that's absolutely booty cheeks and allowing them to touch our quarterback all over. If there's any solid linemen from like that Georgia that is left off that no one picks up, I feel like we might get one of their star linemen. But if we have Lamar and they're trying to set up Lamar for some good throwers or for some good receivers, I can see them trying to pick up one of the good early round wide receivers for him, get him a good fast wide receiver, maybe one of the wides from Ohio or Alabama. They got some.
Didn't they already do that with Hollywood Brown?
Yeah, where did he end up?
Yeah, he is now on the supposed to be super team Cardinals, but look how that
the only
super lineup.
The Cardinals are going to be a fucking dumpster fire.
They played like the Brooklyn Nets did with Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden.
The only place that the Cardinals are a super team in is the fucking AARP waiting line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah, 100%.
We got Minnesota at 23, Jacksonville 24, Giants at 25, Cowboys 26, Bills 27, Bengals 28, Saints pick 29th, which they got from Miami through Denver. Eagles have 3 first-round picks. No, 2. They get 30th.
So okay. I was like, wow, Super Bowl contender, runner-up, and 3 first
Super Bowl runner-up and 3 draft picks in the first.
So insane. They got the 10th and the 30th. Chiefs at 31. So the Browns and the Broncos, the Rams, the Dolphins, the 49ers do not have a pick in the first round.
Damn.
And that's going to hit all of those teams hard because they need each of those teams need that first rounder.
So this draft class is not one for a lot of what we say firepower, a lot of bang for your buck.
It's a lot of coin tosses.
This is a good draft for those teams to not necessarily have a first round pick because we don't know really what these guys.
This is not a draft where you trade up. This is a draft where you trade down.
This is a draft where you want to look for, okay, what are these kids that we've been scouting all season that we know about? Like, take those in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th round. Those are probably going to be the better draft rounds for this draft.
So we have 4 teams that have 2 first-round picks. Seattle has 2, Eagles have 2, Houston has 2, Lions have 2. So that's good. That's going to be pretty.
I see Chicago trading away that first overall.
Who do you see getting?
I
don't see that happening.
So
I see them getting rid of Fields.
Chicago has their franchise quarterback. And if you don't think Fields is their franchise quarterback,
not theirs.
Had they ran him one more game, he would have broke fucking Lamar Jackson's single season record, Devin. We know that.
I know he was doing good, but I don't think the Bears are going to want to use Fields as their franchise.
The Bears need is someone to alleviate the fact that Justin Fields needed to run all season. They need to get him some passing weapons. We've got Juju Smith-Schuster, who's wanting a big contract. Chicago's got a lot of money.
$100 million in cap space.
Chicago can shoot for these wide receivers. DeAndre Hopkins is a free agent. He's not going to Chicago, but
I hope we pick him up
with
if
enough.
we can keep
With
him on.
enough, no, DeAndre Hopkins is maybe putting out tweets suggesting that he might want to play with a certain Patrick Mahomes next season.
Oh fucking
God.
dear God! The Chiefs don't need DeAndre.
But to where Cap's point was earlier, Mahomes' contract might prevent someone of the status of Hopkins.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hopkins demands dollars.
Yeah.
Out of all the teams that have 2 picks, who do you think's going to get more bang for their buck first round?
Lions.
I feel Lions. I feel the Lions are going to cook with what they got. Hopefully they base their offense around that running back.
Houston has second and 12, but you know they're going to fuck it up because it's Houston.
They always do.
They're, like you say, Cap, with the Chargers, the Texans are snake bit.
Yeah. Seattle has 5th and 20th. Carroll's known for finding gems in the draft. He has.
I mean, shit. Russ was a 3rd rounder, wasn't he?
4th. I think.
Yeah.
4th. 3rd. No, Prescott was a 4th. Russell was a 3rd. Yeah, you're right.
And
I would probably lean Lions or Eagles because the fact that you're coming off within a field goal of winning the Super Bowl and you've got 2 first-round picks, you can instantly fill holes that the
you
glaring
saw
holes
during
that
the
you've
Super
got.
Bowl.
Yeah.
Which, at this point, I think we know what it is for the Eagles.
They need to work on the defense.
It's the secondary, not just
You think?
not the defense, because that D line is stacked. That D linebackers
They
are
couldn't
stacked.
get to Mahomes.
And that's all
why
on the offensive line, I think.
Edge rush. No, Eagles couldn't get to Mahomes. They need edge rushers.
They've got edge rushers. They have edge rushers. The Chiefs just held them. The Eagles were 6
Then
sacks
you got to get
away.
better edge.
I was about to say the Eagles were 6 sacks away from breaking the 85 Bears sack record. They've got the rushers. The Chiefs were just on point, I think.
Well, we know
Because the Eagles beat the dog shit out of the 49ers. The Eagles stomped the dog shit out of the 49ers. And the 49ers had a hell of an offensive line.
Yeah, but let's also consider the fact that the 49ers were using 3rd and 4th string QBs.
And Christian
But-
McCaffrey.
But that Brock Purdy going from Mr. Irrelevant to bringing them into a playoff and almost going undefeated in the playoffs.
He got robbed from Rookie of the Year.
What do you guys think the 49ers are going to do with their quarterback core? Are they going to keep Jimmy G, use him as a trade piece, and run with Purdy because they know Purdy's good? Or they could have the veteran Garoppolo being under Purdy, training him to be that next level quarterback that those 49ers need.
Money. Garoppolo feels he's a starter still.
Yeah.
Where would you see him going?
Let's see. Who needs a quarterback?
Atlanta.
Indianapolis?
Indy, I can see Indy.
Tennessee?
Cowboys.
Possibly.
They could get rid of Prescott. I see them getting rid of Dak.
I see a lot.
No,
of
they're
hate
keeping
I see
Dak.
a lot of hate on the Cowboys for Dak, and it's not Dak's fault. Y'all brought Mike McCarthy in to be your guys' head coach. Like
I said the exact same thing when he was hired. I was like, well, you done fucked up.
you guys got rid of the clapper and brought in
The shatter?
yeah.
The Texans need a Q.
The Texans need a
Falcons,
lot of
everything.
They
got D'Amico Ryans. They got somebody in that office now that's probably going to take or hold accountability now.
I can see the Steelers.
Seattle needs they've got Pickett. They've still got Pickett. Seattle needs a quarterback, but I wonder if San Fran would trade him in division.
I see Seattle probably trying to go for CJ Stroud. You said that Seattle's got what, the number 5 pick?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Seattle.
They got Geno though. Geno, he did good for them.
No, he didn't. He had a couple good weeks, and he got given comeback player of the year for a
long-term thinking, Dev. Planning long-term here.
Geno Smith got given
well, the
comeback
Jets-
player of the year for a quote.
Apparently, the Jets are still not totally sold on Wilson. So
They're not sold on
Garoppolo-
Wilson. Mike White got fucking murdered at the end of the season. That was the cleanest tackle I think we'll ever see in football, maybe ever. Matt Milano breaking every rib on Mike White.
Well, I mean, Garoppolo's a big city guy. New York, big
New
media.
York's got a lot of eyes.
Which one, Giants or Jets?
Jets.
They both have a lot of eyes, but the Jets is where we're talking because I think
as
the
good as
Giants
the
are
Giants
gonna
did this year, I
sign-
think they're sticking with Jones.
I was about to say the Giants are probably going to sign Danny Jones to probably a 2-3 year extension.
Not that he deserves it, but
He held it down. He held it down.
You think the Patriots are going to stick with Mac?
No, that's a team that I can see Jimmy Garoppolo actually going back to.
Oh yeah, didn't he get drafted to the Patriots?
Yes, he did, and he was under Tom
he
Brady.
was going to be Brady's successor, and then Brady demanded that they trade him
And
because he didn't want anyone breathing down his neck.
But who brought Garoppolo out there? It was Belichick.
Yep.
Belichick's
And
still
Belichick
there.
is also the GM of the Patriots. Let's not forget he's also
So-
head coach and GM.
I can easily see, but in the same essence, again, Purdy's going through Tommy John.
Yep. Which
That's-
means he's not going to be worth a squat next year.
Yeah, the next season, no. It's gonna probably be a full season for him to build up that arm strength again.
Well, don't they've got another guy besides him and Garoppolo.
Trey Lance.
Trey Lance,
Lance.
yeah.
But I'm not gonna lie,
Trey wasn't looking good.
it was not impressive of what we saw with him. But then again, we only had a very small sample size, and then he got hurt. We'll see what he can do this next season because
What exactly his injury was?
I think he broke his leg.
Oh, that's going to be a big factor on his continuation of his career.
Okay, so I'm looking at Denver's draft picks.
I
You don't have a first rounder. You don't have a second rounder. You've got 2 threes, a 4, a 5, a 6, and a 7.
So you're basically telling me not to watch the draft until wide receiver round. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, let him cook.
Oh dear. No.
Why'd y'all let him cook? He cooked and burned the bitch down.
I have good news from the mouth of Sean Payton himself. Team 3 has been banned from facilities.
Team 3?
Oh, yeah.
You know those
Russell
YouTube
Wilson's
videos you see
team?
around Thanksgiving of epic fails trying to deep fry a turkey? That was letting Russ cook last year.
Let's ride.
After this season, I'm fairly certain that Russell Wilson would burn the water for boiling ramen.
And they put that shit in the microwave, too.
When you can't even boil, and I'm not trying to knock Russ. I think it's hilarious because I'm a Raider fan and I love to knock the Broncos any chance
And
I
I
get.
love Russ. He beat the shit out of us in the Super Bowl.
You were so excited and jumping for joy when you guys got Russell Wilson.
Oh,
You even got his jersey. And look how that went.
Matty had to literally. How many bottles of Jergens did you go through when you signed him? I mean, the clean.
At least 2.
Did you guys see the That's Good Sports video whenever the news of us supposedly getting Aaron Rodgers was leaked? And then it didn't happen. And then minutes later we got Russell Wilson. That was my roller coaster of emotions. I was like, oh, Rodgers re-signed with the Packers.
Damn.
Our season's over. We're stuck with fucking Locke again.
Holy shit, we got Russell Wilson.
And then I saw that, and it was as if the angels were singing to me.
They were playing the wrong note for you.
I was on cloud 9, and then week 1 happened.
You're expecting a banger, and instead you got a Kids Bop.
And 3, Russell Wilson didn't have as many touchdowns as he did bathrooms until week 11, guys.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
I showed this stat to my roommate because he asked, how did Brock Purdy not get Rookie of the Year? Brock Purdy played only, I think, 7 regular season games. In those 7 regular season games, he had almost better stats than Russell Wilson did for a full season.
Who got Rookie of the Year this year?
That went to Garrett Wilson, wide receiver for the Jets. The Jets actually swept the Rookie of the Year this year.
Really? Defense and offensive Rookie of the Year?
Sauce Gardner got it for the defensive Rookie of the Year.
That's probably
deserving.
the best draft pick the Jets have made in 3-4 decades. Sauce
Gardner, he's a dog.
He can cook.
I was about to say he had, I think he said the rookie record for interceptions this season.
Yeah.
There's no denying he got Rookie of the Year for defense. And again, Garrett Wilson, I'm sorry, I didn't understand your game. You really surprised me when I saw that you had as many yards as you did, Garrett.
Okay, so I just saw a very disturbing story.
Oh, lovely.
The Jets just added Todd Downing as their passing game coordinator, who also has ties to Derek Carr. Derek Carr, I love you. I have your jersey. Thank you for bringing me so many wonderful years as a Raider fan. But for the love of God, if you go to the goddamn Jets, Cap's going to relieve some ballast water, grab a beer, and be right back. I'll let you discuss that. You just got my opinion on the subject.
Derek Carr to the Jets. So they just got Hackett too. So now we've got either Derek Carr or Aaron Rodgers linked to the Jets.
Wow, that is a broad from here to here. You don't know which one you're going to go to. You have that Pro Bowl game that Derek Carr was just cooking. He wasn't missing. And he was this close from hitting that 500. The 10 bucket that was this close off. He hit everything else off. And that just shows that if Derek Carr has a good offensive line, he can cook. He doesn't have to panic, but once he starts panicking, that car is going to break down, and it's going to stay broken for the rest of that
Jets
game.
Not have
everything.
The Jets do not have an O-line.
The only thing I can think of that they have is they fucking took him from us, from the Ravens, and that's
and C.J. Mosley sucked after he went out to the Jets too.
And we all saw he got this 5-year deal, expensive as fuck paycheck, just to suck dick and go on a team that once he left, we're still a playoff contender. Even if C.J. Mosley's not on our team, we're still contending and playing good games every so often. But that really opened my eyes. I was like, damn, I was really upset when I saw that C.J. Mosley was gone because I was hoping he was going to stay with us for a good amount. But nope, traded to the Jets, and I was like, oh, the Jets might do good. Nope, C.J. Mosley averaged a couple tackles a game, if that. Didn't get any interceptions for the first 6 games. He didn't really have much going on for him once he left Baltimore. Welcome back, Cap.
The New York Jets are I know Cleveland is basically football purgatory, but the Jets aren't too far away.
All right. So Ian Rappaport yesterday. Aaron Rodgers heads into the darkness on Monday with his decision looming. He is going on his 4-day darkness retreat starting today.
It's a 4-day darkness retreat.
Oh, so Devin?
I wonder what Grossi is doing. Is he just
he's already
being a Catholic? I'm wondering, is he just going through the rosary, just every bead saying Hail Marys and Our Fathers for each one?
I know Grossi's just done with the whole Aaron Rodgers. Is he gonna stay or is he gonna go narrative? It's been 3
because we went to this shit with BF. I'm not even gonna say his name.
Yeah, fuck that.
His name is banned. He is like Gord on Wrestle Buddy. BF is banned.
Yeah, no BFs here.
No BFs.
But so Rodgers is going into a 4-day darkness retreat. Devin, what that is you are essentially in a room. I don't know if he's going to be in a group, because sometimes they'll put you in a group because if you're doing this by
Aaron
yourself,
Rodgers group therapy.
because chances are if you do this darkness retreat by yourself, you are in complete darkness for 4 days. And the only light you'll get is whenever they open a slot to give you your food.
Interesting. He's going to come out a whole different person.
Rodgers did ayahuasca last season, and he's doing a full-on shut-in hermit crab this season.
What's next? You're going to turn into Buddhist and become a monk?
I was saying, imagine if you decided to join an escape room party and you found out your quarterback of the group was Aaron Rodgers.
You look at him, quick, Rodgers, what's the game plan? Looks at you, I'm sorry, son. I don't got one.
Wait, you guys stay here. I'll go for help.
So, yeah, Rodgers is going to sit down in a dark room for 4 days, and hopefully come Thursday, he will have an answer as to, is he retiring? Is he staying? Is he playing with the Packers? Or is he moving on?
What do y'all think he's going to do?
Is that like Jimmy Buffett come Monday with Aaron Rodgers? Is just, come Thursday, I'll be holding you tight. I spent 4 lonely years just fucking with your fears.
But honestly, I know Cap doesn't want it. I can see Rodgers going West Coast.
I see him retiring, honestly. Please, I see this year is going to be the end of the big quarterback eras.
Wait, dude, Dev, how much have you smoked today? This is the NFL. It's never the end of big quarterback eras.
Well, I'm saying like from the past
generation.
Yeah, our generation, our lifetimes.
But your generation or my generation? I'm fucking 15 years older than you.
Me and Matt's, not yours.
Well, technically, Brady was part of your generation too, for God's sakes.
I know. I was born in '87, so I caught the tail end of Montana.
Okay.
So that's how much of this shit I've been through.
You caught tail end of Montana, early starts of Young.
Yeah, and then the Aikmans and the Mannings and the Bradys and the Brees, and I've seen a lot of shit.
But yeah, no, it is crazy though, Devin. Like if Rodgers goes away, like quarterback says, we knew it.
Is gone.
Ben Roethlisberger,
Breeze, Rivers,
even Philip fucking Rivers.
Yeah,
of men.
We hate Philip Rivers. We always have, but we have to put some respect on what he's done for the sport, his teams.
He's
all of his kids.
He's like the Mick Foley of the NFL. He's just too damn nice of a guy. You know,
and he can't pull out.
No, that was that.
No, he's Catholic. He can't use birth control.
Yeah, I was about to say it's the no contraception.
Yeah,
he was asked in an interview, "How do you have so many kids?" No contraception, and he said it with a big ass smile on his face.
No shit. When he was the quarterback I remember when he was the quarterback at North Carolina State. By the time he graduated college, he already had 2 or 3.
Really?
Yes. Look it up.
Damn. Dude was a papa at 18, probably.
I mean,
but
I'm a Catholic, and I don't use contraception, and I have no children that I'm aware of. But
Rivers did it all with one female, though. Like, that is dedication. Kudos to him.
And that's some potency. I mean,
was your contraceptives a personal use or like a religious belief that you just don't want to for religion, or you just fuck it?
Well, I never wanted to use them because I don't like them, but then I became a Catholic, and I was like, okay, so I've got another out here.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Sorry, baby. The Bible says no.
But the Bible said no, baby.
I've only ever been with one person that demanded rubbers, and I acquiesced because I didn't really want to make babies with this bitch. She was a pain in the ass. She was just super hot, and I wanted to bang her. But she didn't want my babies, and probably a good idea on her part. That's the only one since the age of 17 that I'm 36 now. So do the math. One person has ever like demanded the use of contraceptives. So I can't be all that bad of a guy.
So I know we're not jumping into it just yet, but are there only 4 matches announced for the Chamber?
Well, that was my transition. I was to say before we get to Chamber, is there anything else on the NFL? Because I've got Chamber card pulled up.
Yeah, other than with everything that we've said, with Russ not cooking very well, Team 3 getting kicked out of the building, and
Russell Wilson is an arsonist.
And Sean Payton just coming to the Denver Broncos. Yeah, last season might have been bad. But with all that being said, the Broncos are winning the fucking Super Bowl this season.
Oh, my goodness, Matt.
I can confidently say the Raiders are going to be dog shit for another decade. So there you go. So long as we beat Denver every year, I'm happy with that.
I can confidently say my team has a chance at the wild card. That's about it.
Super Bowl or bust, baby.
Motherfucker, you ain't going nowhere near the wild card, let alone the Super Bowl.
Anyway.
Transition.
Getting into the Chamber. So let's start from the bottom. Let's start from the bottom here, according to CBS Sports, of the actual card for the Chamber. So we've got Edge and Beth Phoenix versus Finn and Rhea. I'm looking forward to this. It's Rhea Ripley. You know, we all love us some Rhea. I love
me some mommy.
Oh yeah, I love when they had him up and the mommy help me.
Yeah,
I won't do good in jail, mommy. Get me out.
Get me out. Or one of my favorites was when Montez yelled at her, "Rah, rah, rah, don't you yell at mommy."
Edge always has good matches. Beth Phoenix looks like she's in incredible shape, and Finn Balor, I mean, he's
never been in bad shape in his fucking life.
So
I could see this being Beth's last torch passing to Rhea, being the next dominant big girl for the WWE.
I think that's
Absolutely.
probably why they did this as a tag team match. Maybe Beth isn't confident in her skills anymore as a singles, like to be able to do a one-on-one match.
Right.
But with the dance partner like Rhea, who's proven she can carry matches at such a young age.
Absolutely.
I would really like for the passing of the torch to actually be a one-on-one Beth versus Rhea match.
Well, it's also
think like a Mania?
Well, no, Rhea's got Charlotte at Mania.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Which I still don't know why she went with Charlotte instead of Bianca. I understand my point that I made in Texas was Charlotte still has that win over her at Mania, but
also
didn't she also beat her in NXT too?
I mean, she
for the NXT women.
She beat her for the NXT Women's title at Mania.
So
So let's also put it in this context. While Bianca Belair, she's a stud, she's a star. She's not the stud star Charlotte is. No. Rhea beating Charlotte at Mania for the belt
is a bigger deal.
That makes Rhea easily the #1 female in the business.
Yeah,
and I think that is an incredibly smart move to put her in that position.
I think that would genuinely put her and Bianca at 1A, 1B. Like with how they're presenting each woman and how they would be on each brand, that would literally be 1A, 1B. Like they are the stars.
Now, well, you got Becky, but Becky's had her runs with the belt. They're trying to, make and Becky can still have good runs here and there. And
same thing with Bayley. We could say the same thing there.
I mean, I think we're going to get Becky and Bayley at Mania probably too.
I would like.
Aren't they at the Chamber though?
Nope.
No.
I swear I thought that was one of the matches.
But yeah, no, guys, for that match, who are we going?
I'm going Edge or not Edge. I'm going Balor and Rhea. They're not going to have Rhea lose on the pay-per-view before Mania.
I'm going Balor because I think he and Edge still have unfinished business, and I think Mania is where they finish it off.
You think that's going to be Edge's last?
No, he's going to retire in Toronto.
He announced that he's going to be doing the Toronto show, I believe, in August of this year.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I think they put Finn and Rhea over, and then Edge and Balor have one last clash to tie that all up.
Didn't the last time Edge have a match with any member of the Judgment Day, his team ended up on top? Didn't the last time they had a run in, Edge and Beth won or whatever? Or Edge
I
and
mean,
whoever
technically,
teamed
the
up?
last time they had a run in, Edge got eliminated by the Judgment
Well, there's
Day.
that, but like last match they had before Edge.
I want to say it was a tag match with Ray, and they had lost.
Wasn't it Extreme Rules, though? Edge and Balor had the I Quit match. That was the last time we saw Edge until...
Yeah,
no, that's right.
That's what it was.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think it's going to be Baylor and Rhea.
Same.
So next we got the
Yeah,
women's Elimination Chamber match. Raquel Rodriguez, Nikki Ass Cross, Liv Morgan, Asuka, Natalia, Carmella.
I'm going Kana.
Yeah.
100%. It's going to be Kana versus Bianca at Mania. They have to.
That's going to be a big money match, I think.
I think they're going to start bringing her up as a serious contender.
I mean, they've been doing like because she's still Asuka on screen. Like, she's still presenting herself as that, but you can tell that there's something not right behind her eyes on screen. And I really think that her versus Bianca is going to be a really fun story going into WrestleMania.
Do they even have the rights to even call her Kana? Because that's New Japan.
That's her legal name. So
that's her legal name is Kana?
That would be on her if she wants to sign her name to the WWE, which I wouldn't.
I think they're just going to end up calling her like the Demon Clown Asuka, a new demon portray since we don't have Demon Balor anymore. And she's the last person that I can think of that actually had a serious undefeated run. Was Asuka. She was undefeated for what, 2 years almost? Before she lost? 2.5 years.
She never lost in NXT. She
lost when she moved up.
You got to figure they're going to add at least 1 or 2 more matches to Chamber because they've only got 4.
They have to. I'm only looking at 4.
We got the 2 chambers. That's Micah. Give me 1 second. I'm going to close the door.
Okay. Anywho.
Yeah, we only have 4 matches on the card.
So Cody's nowhere to be seen, but we got Raw tonight, so I'm not sure if they'll announce anything for Cody.
We have 1 women's chamber. We have the U.S. title. You think they're going to do anything with Gunther in the IC?
I was about to say, well, no, Gunther's facing Madcap on SmackDown this week.
Oh, yeah. I forgot they're doing that match.
So I doubt they're going to have him do a 1-day turnaround like that. So, yeah, I'm not sure what they might add, if anything, which is weird. But anyway, transitioning the Elimination Chamber match for the U.S. title, which I actually like this, putting the U.S. title in this spot. We got Theory defending against Seth Rollins, Johnny Gargano, Bronson Reed, Damian Priest, and Montez Ford.
What a fucking lineup for that match.
I want Priest to win.
That is going to be a banger.
It's going to be amazing. I really want Priest to win because I want to see more gold on the Judgment Day. But I see them doing Rollins Theory at Mania with Rollins going in as U.S. champ.
I think if they're serious about continuing to build Theory, I think he has to come out of it on top. Because it would prove that he is the now as opposed to the future, as he likes to say.
But if I'm going based on my heart, Montez Ford is going to be a star in this match.
Yes.
He is going to have one of the best chamber performances maybe we'll ever see.
What are they going to do with Dawkins? Because they haven't had those 2 team up in a minute.
Didn't they team up the other week?
I think maybe. I don't really know every single one, but I'm
with you, Cap. I think Theory's walking away with this one, and it's going to be by hook or by crook.
We've got no Bray for this show. We've got I'm trying to think who else we won't have Gunther.
We
We
just
have no
had the tag
Strowman.
titles this last Friday.
Yeah, with Strowman and Ricochet, so they're done.
We don't
Usos probably.
have. Yeah, the whole thing with the Usos, God only knows where that is.
No Solo.
Well, I think the Usos, they're going to make their presence known in the
the
main
Usos
event.
and Solo are going to make their presence in the main, and that main event is going to be Godfather levels of cinema.
Roman Reigns defending the Undisputed Championship against Sami Zayn. So we've been building to this now basically since what, July
of last year, I believe.
Year.
Yeah.
So I want to hear two theories from each of you.
Two different ones, or one theory from each of us?
No, one from each of you. So here's what it is. Theory A, how and why Sami comes away with the belt. Theory B, how does Roman retain without burying Sami?
I see theory B going. More of what they're going to go. I don't think they're going to have Roman actually lose it to Sami, which no matter what, I would love to see Sami hold big gold for the company. He's done everything he's been asked for.
Let's not forget, this is in Montreal.
In his backyard.
In his backyard.
And we've seen as this whole thing has gone along, the more Sami has gotten over, the more they have pushed him towards this. So there's that suspension of disbelief and like, you never thought you were going to see Mick Foley hold the title, but he did.
So I'll defend
make a switch
part A. I'll defend part A, but I want to hear Devin's part B.
With part B, I really think how it's going to play out at Mania is Paul's going to do some shenaniganery, and Roman's going to lose at Mania to Rhodes, but only drop one. They're going to pull you didn't read the fine print. Me and Maddie have talked about this for a while, since it was even talked about that Rhodes was going to be in the Rumble. It's going to possibly have a Sami-Roman rivalry. I see Sami Zayn losing, but I see there's going to be some beef between Jay and Roman for a little bit, and Jay realizing that Sami might just be playing him and that he's going to start listening to Jimmy and Roman, even though I would love to see at Mania it be like Solo and Jimmy versus Jay and Sami, but unfortunately that's not going to happen. I see it more or less playing out, it being Jay and Jimmy and KO and Sami for the titles. But I would love to see the A play out
have Sami
as well.
And KO in the reign of the Usos.
Yep, in the reign of the Usos. They told him to get his own bloodline, and technically the only person Sami really has as family is KO. It's his best man at his wedding. They trained together. They've traveled the world together. And the way that Sami looked at KO when he was getting his ass beat during the Rumble that we all got to see live, I really see KO and Sami building their brotherhood back up, taking those undisputed tag titles off of them, even maybe unifying them as one whole title, because KO might make a joke that he doesn't want to hold two. It's under his pay grade, so he just fuses them into one. Like some heel shit, but like face heel shit.
That sounds like Kevin Owens.
Like, this is some bullshit. I don't want to hold two belts. Let's fuse them. Sami's like, you're right. Let's do it. They fuse the belts. I see that more or less happening, even though I would love to see option A play out. That's my opinion.
Just as a possible addition to Chamber that we could get tonight on Raw. This is just a pet theory of mine. KO versus Solo.
That'd be a fun match.
I see them holding out. I see them holding out on KO coming out even during that. Maybe his entrance plays and Roman gets confused and Sami gets a roll up. It's a close 2 count. Sami thinks he's got the win and Roman starts fucking him up. Like how Sami did to help out the Usos that one match. It was just the entrance. Roman's going to look up. He's going to be confused why the hell KO is even able to walk out after the ass beating he received from the Bloodline at Rumble. I see him coming out the Raw or 2 after Elimination Chamber to help out Sammy against like Jimmy and Jay, because Jay's gonna end up turning on Sammy at the Chamber, and KO coming out. Actually, his entrance plays. Sammy thinks, oh, he's just gonna try to distract them, but KO's actually gonna come out. He's gonna come out with the chair that Sammy didn't want to hit him with, and he's gonna defend his brother against the Bloodline.
Okay, so Maddie, your turn.
Yeah, no. We're in Sammy's backyard. We totally have one of those moments where the crowd is going to dictate how this match ends. And I can totally see, maybe a haluva kick happens. Sammy goes for the pin, and as he's getting the pin, 1, 2, 3. Ref didn't see that Heyman put Roman's foot on the rope at 2. So Sammy wins. You get that ridiculous crowd pop. But then you get Paul Heyman telling the referee that Roman's foot was on the rope. Roman's still selling, has foot still on the rope.
I'll do you one better. The dusty finish. The 2 referee.
Ooh.
Referee 1 gets knocked out. Referee 2 comes in, counts the 1, 2, 3. Sammy's the champion. Then referee 1 wakes up
and calls disqualification. Yeah, we could easily see that there's a lot of routes that they can go to have Sammy win in Montreal and still have a Montreal screw job of sorts happen to Sammy. And you're meaning to tell me that would not bury Sami Zayn. It would not bury him. As a matter of fact, it would make him all the more wanted to win a belt, regardless if it's the world title or the tag title with Kevin Owens.
I think you have to keep the not that I wouldn't enjoy the pop for Sammy, but I think you have to keep the belts on Roman to get to Mania to have Rhodes take them off of him.
Yeah, that's for sure. And if what Devin said about KO and Sammy fusing the belts together, because I totally see Kevin Owens just strapping them together and just dragging them around.
Yeah.
And
so that's that. Yeah, that's why I see a dusty finish where we think Sammy has won, but turns out I'm not sure exactly how they book that.
It's gonna be beautiful. Like if it's written the same way that the Royal Rumble ending was written.
Yes.
We're going to probably just have some tears on that ending.
So, Kat, kind of backpacking from what you said. Sorry for interrupting you.
Oh, go ahead.
But with you saying that you see Rhodes winning, do you see Rhodes winning both of them, or just
Absolutely.
one? Like I'm thinking.
With Roman, his contract, he's about to become a part-timer, and I think you have Rhodes take both belts off of him, reunite it back under the Winged Eagle. You have Roman go away for a while till like maybe SummerSlam. Like have him take 3, 4, 5, 6 months off. Because if Roman, which we think is all going to happen, he loses at Mania, you have to send him away for a while. And then he can come back at SummerSlam for maybe the rematch with Cody or something with, you could, there's a lot of ways you could go there. But I think you have Roman drop the belts to Cody at Mania, and then Roman goes away for a bit. That's what I would do, because Roman has been this god for 2.5, 3 years. You can't just have him all of a sudden, resort to being just another challenger for Cody. He has to go away, and we're wondering, when is he coming back for the rematch? When's he coming back for the rematch? Then we've got, SummerSlam in Detroit, and I think that's where we get Cody Roman too.
Yeah,
that's what I would do, at least. to, because Roman's, it's one of those things like, okay, when a president loses, a sitting president loses an election, he goes away for a while. He doesn't, instantly just start popping up on CNN, Fox News, whatever, for this or that.
Yeah.
He goes away for a while. And I think with someone like Roman, who's had this incredible run, he has to go away for a while.
Oh, yeah.
Just to, let Cody have his time, see how it goes with him as champion, which I think it's going to go pretty well. I was in tears crying on Maddie's shoulder at the Rumble, seeing a Rhodes. Like, oh my God, a Rhodes is going to main event WrestleMania.
It's nuts.
It's unbelievable.
Give Cody his run. Give the Rhodes family their run, and look at the opponents that Cody has lined up for him. He could have matches with Rollins. He can have matches with Gunther. He can have matches with
Cody versus Gunther 1-on-1 is going to be phenomenal.
I'd love to see
him and
Randy. Him and Randy.
Yeah. There are plenty of opponents that Cody can have a run against. And once you've exhausted that to a degree, then you can bring Roman back for the rematch. But
I will say before we get to our next segment, which I did make a banner for, I will go back to football here for a second. This might irritate you, Cap.
Oh, no.
New York Post is reporting that Fox's Greg Olson's salary will be
reduced I just saw that
from $10 million to $3 million once Tom Brady begins broadcasting, and will now be moved from number 1 to number 2 team, meaning that he'll be on like Fox daytime games to where Brady gets the
game of the week. Well,
that sucks.
To quote the great Jim Cornette, whenever he was in contract negotiations with Jim Hurd, that's not a cut, that's a disembowelment.
$7 million reduction. Greg Olson, you are a better man than I am.
Yeah, I could not.
Oh,
it doesn't matter if it's Brady. I
think Greg Olson proved himself at the Super Bowl that he was a damn good commentator.
Even though everyone made memes about him, like with the Rihanna and the Melvin Gordon, the next one was Greg Olson, and
I can't believe I didn't talk about that on stream yet. And
Tubi was allowing you to see your approved dad just talk sports and different things about talking about you just being able to see your dad for hours.
Before we get to the next segment,
go ahead.
Which is bring one. You guys decide of what you want to bring to the table. But Melvin Gordon.
Shit.
Gordon, you fumbled the ball, I believe, a total of 3,247 times in your time in Denver. And then you've got the balls to ask you get released. You go to the Chiefs. Your ass doesn't play for the fucking team. I don't think I saw you grab one snap for that team. Probably because you would have ruined their chances at getting to the Super Bowl. But not only did Chad Henne get a Super Bowl ring before he retired, Melvin Gordon didn't play a snap in the Super Bowl and has a picture of him smoking a big old stogie, holding the Super Bowl trophy, as if he fucking did something to earn that motherfucking trophy. I'm pretty sure I retweeted the picture of that saying, moments later, Melvin Gordon dropped and broke the Lombardi. Like, are you shitting me? Okay, tangent over. Bring one, guys. This is the part of the show where I ask you guys to bring one of anything. An album, song, movie, a wrestling match, anything that you can think of that the audience maybe hasn't seen or that you just love. So, Cap, we're going to start with you.
Anything to the table that the audience hasn't seen, might not know about me. Hmm. That's a pretty tough one. Well, I mean, they've seen all the baseball, they know all of that. Uh, well, I would say I'm looking over at my bookcase right now. Oh, damn rug. Oh, where is it?
Getting an episode of Book Club as well.
Actually, I'll pull two out here.
Ooh,
As y'all can
bonus
see,
content.
you know, Cap's Library. I'm a big book nerd. Those of you who followed Buddy Wars saw that I pulled out my grandfather's copy of the Warren Commission report whenever Jimmy Bebe was complaining about conspiracies, but which is a very treasured, piece of mine. I have two books here that I'm very proud to own. These are very fragile, so I'll hold them up. I'm a big fan. Hunter S. Thompson is my favorite author of all time, and I've got just about every one of his books in a first edition hardback. But this is probably the one. It's a first edition hardback from his follow-up to Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, Fear and Loathing on the Campaign Trail 72, when he was part of the press corps that followed Nixon and George McGovern. Fantastic book. First edition. And then to really tantalize you guys, going from nonfiction to fiction, my second favorite writer of all time and favorite fiction writer is Ernest Hemingway, who I believe to be the ultimate American writer of all time, next to maybe Twain. You could argue 1A, 1B, but this is a first edition hardback of The Old Man and the Sea.
Oh, wow.
Which most people are not aware of this. It actually still has the original leaflet insert.
Ooh.
And to even further stake my claim, I'll get this up here. Let's see. That A right there.
Yeah.
This is a first edition hardback of Old Man and the Sea. So very, very treasured piece of mine. I don't have my vinyls up here. I've got some first edition vinyls from some of my favorite artists, but I don't have my vinyls up here. They're downstairs in the rec room. But these are the two that I grabbed for instantly as the oldest hardbound, first editions that I've got of books. So yeah, there you go. My random picks off the bookshelf.
All right. And I am going to suggest, I saw it the other day on Twitter. Thanks to Will Washington, it got brought back into my memory. I suggest to everybody to go back and watch the 1995 cult classic film, Mortal Kombat. You will have such a bad time, but it's so bad it's good.
Well, as we mentioned last night, I think we talked about Cocaine Bear being one of those that's going to be so bad it's good.
I cannot wait for that.
I recently went back and watched Hulk Hogan's Suburban Commando, and you want to talk about a movie that's so bad it's good. Undertaker has a cameo in there, a very young Undertaker, with a voice dub of a very high-pitched, almost girly-like voice. Yeah.
All right. And Devin, what do you bring to the table?
I'm going to bring, and it's a little movie that is close to you in my heart, Matt. It's probably my favorite movie of all time. It is called The Crow with Brandon Lee. I recently was in some conversations with some of my managers at my job. I'm a manager at Modern Market here in Longmont. I talked to some of my coworkers, and unfortunately for me, not a single one of them has even heard or seen the movie The Crow. and it is such a beautiful movie.
How
That is
young are
phenomenal.
they?
Most of them are older than me. A lot of the crew members are younger than me, but some of like the managers are in their mid-20s, some are early 30s, and none of them have seen or heard of the movie The Crow. That is what I'm going to bring to the table. I highly suggest you watch it. You can get it online. You can buy it on Blu-ray if you guys are still having some DVD players. I still have one, and I own the movie.
I got a Blu-ray player in my bedroom, and then I got my PS4 downstairs. So yeah.
Yeah, I got the newer at one of the newer Xboxes, and it doesn't have a disc drive, so I bought the DVD player so somebody can get some old instant classics on the Blu-ray. And The Crow was easily the first movie I bought for our Blu-ray player.
Okay,
And I want to.
question. Well, not to stick with the theme. You said that's the first movie you ever bought on Blu-ray. All right.
With our new Blu-ray player.
Right, like you like the okay. Not the best movie of all time. Your favorite movie of all time. What's the first one you bought on Blu-ray?
Me?
Both of you.
I still think it's The Crow.
The first movie I ever bought on DVD.
No, Blu-ray.
DVD Blu-ray was probably Friday.
Yeah, you got the collection. No, it was the collection of Superbad and Pineapple Express.
Oh yeah,
I'm pretty sure it was the
right.
first one you got. It was a party 2-pack. Or no, I think it was 3. It was Superbad, it was Pineapple Express, and it was that one movie with Jack Black in it. It's Year One. That's what it was.
So first Blu-ray I ever bought when I got my first ability to play Blu-ray was the Francis Ford Coppola director's cut of Apocalypse Now. Not the greatest movie of all time, but by far my absolute favorite. If you all want to know anything about the Captain, watch Apocalypse Now. It is it's by far my number one favorite movie ever made.
To throw another shout for movies that not a lot of people seen, I'm a huge fan of mythologies, of all mythologies, Norse, Greek, Egypt, Hindu, you name it, I'm a fan of it. And there's this really good movie. Like Cap said, it's not the best. It's 100% not the best, and not everyone knows of it. But Gods of Egypt is a fantastic movie.
No, we're not talking about your Citizen Kane's, your Godfathers. We're talking about your favorite movies,
it's up there. It's really up there.
Make you warm.
It's really up there. Every time I see it, I want to sit down and watch the whole thing. If I find clips of it on a social media or a YouTube, even though that can be considered social media since people post stories on there now. Every time I see a clip of that on something, it makes me want to go watch it. That and Hacksaw Ridge, an amazing military movie with Andrew Garfield on it, and the emotions he shows in that movie, and it's based on a true story, is absolutely beautiful, and that is a work of art.
There's one movie.
That's one of the things that as much shit as I talk about Mel Gibson, and as much shit as deserves to be talked about Mel Gibson, he has made a couple of 3 bangers in his life. Braveheart, obviously. We Were Soldiers is one of my absolute favorite war movies. Hacksaw Ridge is phenomenal. So yeah, there's, we won't go into the alcoholic crimes of one Mel Gibson. His anti-Semitic rants, but he has made some damn good movies. So I have to give him some credit there. And the book We Were Soldiers, which I read once upon a time when I was writing a novel about a fictional novel about the Vietnam War, and that was one of the reference books that I read along with a couple 3 others to sort of put the story together. We Were Soldiers, pretty damn good book.
I think I've read bits and pieces of that. Not the full book, but I think I've read bits and pieces.
There's another one called, my favorite book on Vietnam is called Dispatches.
I had read that one.
Oh, so I
read that in middle school.
Yeah, I've got Dispatches here. It's a phenomenal book. In my opinion, the best. Well, I mentioned this Hunter S. Thompson book, Fear and Loathing on the Campaign Trail. The press secretary for McGovern said It was the least factual and most accurate book about the 1972 campaign. And Dispatches, to me, is the least factual yet most accurate book about the Vietnam War, because every Vietnam veteran I've ever talked to, the way they tell the story matches up more with that than it does with
anything else.
Other things that I've read. So the least factual and most accurate book about the Vietnam War, Dispatches, folks, check it out. God, we ought to start the RAWBall book club here.
That is something people don't know about me. Is I am a secret bookworm. I love to read.
I don't read.
You write. That's the difference, though.
Well,
you write. You don't read.
Well, to be a great writer, you have to have at once, or at least at some time, been a big reader. And readers tend to become writers, and it's sort of revolves in and around the two. But Devin, I would actually be curious to find out. I did not know this about you, but finding out more about the books that you're into, because obviously, and Maddie can attest, the library that you see that shelf there, this one here, and then there's another one. Well, shit, this reverse camera over
Cap's
here.
La Biblioteca.
Cap's got a library.
I definitely don't own any books, but I'm definitely I used to be a big online reader. And when I was in school, I would.
You catch whenever libraries are having used book sales, or you go to Amazon.com. I have most of the books that I have, very few of them did I buy just basic retail. I bought used, remainded, went to library. I picked up a first edition hardback of Hunter S. Thompson from my local library that they were just selling for $5. I mean, watch for when your local library is having a book sale. You can find some good shit.
I will definitely keep that in mind.
Bring like $20. You'll find half a dozen things that you'll walk away with.
Oh.
And when my mother died a couple of years ago, because she was the one that really made me a big reader. When she died, she had a personal library of something almost nearly 1,000 books. We wound up donating, because part of her will was I get to cherry pick and keep what I want, which I kept a lot of her history books and biographies, and anything I didn't want was to be donated to her local public library. You remember in school those old library cards, like the 4-shelf, side, shelf library cards? We filled 4 of those.
Ooh.
With her personal library, after I cherry picked about 50 that I wanted to keep. So
there's still a good 950 plus books.
Yeah.
Damn.
She was a voracious reader, and so kids, when your parents tell you to read, fucking read. It's going to help you.
It's going to help you a lot.
100%.
Because, dear God, half the kids I know don't know how to write.
Yeah.
It's atrocious. The people that I deal with on a daily basis in my job, the level of ignorance, illiteracy, lack of command over the English language, it mystifies me, because and honestly, I told one of my coworkers one day, I was like, having worked in this job, I now completely feel we have to start teaching economics in the public schools. I'm heavily invested in the stock market. I've studied the stock market, the history of it. I'm a numbers nerd. I love that shit. But the fact that people don't know the basics of microeconomics, supply and demand, and people wonder why the economy goes the way it may go at a particular time. It's like, you ignorant fucks. Just read a little bit. You'll understand it.
Shit, even with me coming recently out of the school systems a couple of years ago, there are so many people, even teachers, that will talk about how many people don't read. And it, like you said, baffles me how illiterate these fucks can be.
On average, millionaires on average, read at least one nonfiction book a month. Some far more than that.
Wow.
Warren Buffett reads 6 newspapers a day. So there's another hint to you young folks that may be watching this profanity and beer and smoke laden broadcast. Read.
It'll help you in your life.
For the love of generations, please fucking read.
Yeah, and this is no shit. I graduated high school with like a C plus B minus average, but to this day, people say I'm the most well-read person that they know. It's because in school I was fucking bored. They didn't give me anything that I was interested in. It was just fucking pass the classes and get through this bullshit. It wasn't until my late teens, early 20s when I really, started picking up on reading a lot of things, even more so than as a young kid. And it's like, just because you weren't smart in school doesn't mean you can't educate yourself. Education is more than just sheepskins and class rings. Education is learning, teaching yourself, educating yourself on the world. Read more than just Twitter. I love Twitter, but read more than just Twitter.
I am putting up my money line for the night.
Oh, Maddie's got a money line. The
do
purveyor of
have a
shit.
money line parlay.
What sport is this in? Basketball?
This is in basketball.
Oh, Christ. See,
Who's
here
playing?
I'm lost.
You are about to see. You're at least about to see who I'm picking to win.
I'm excited when we start the next segment, when we start doing the drunken loonies.
The what?
I think you called it the drunken loonies or whatever
No,
the shit.
the drunken Lucy's.
Loosies, that's what it was.
Yeah, when it's a level of intoxication, and I have to credit a friend of mine. He lives in Denver, not far away from you guys. His name is well, I won't say his name, but whenever we were younger, he created the 5 levels of intoxication. But there's there's sort of the basic 5 levels, but then there's level 6, which are the drunken Lucy's, which are where you are so intoxicated. This is beyond blackout. This is where you are. It's like you took a hallucinogenic drug, mushrooms, LSD, peyote, insert whatever. But you are so drunk that you begin to hallucinate your surroundings. Like you begin to, like
I don't remember what color is blue.
Well, yeah, and the drunken Lucy's are. I've never personally been there. I mean, I've taken hallucinogenic drugs on many occasions, but I've never been to that level 6 point where I am completely hallucinating my surroundings just off of alcohol. But I have seen it happen, and it is fucking scary when someone gets so goddamn drunk that they literally think what they're seeing is not reality. Okay, so let's take Maddie's Monday money line. Go ahead with it.
We got the Utah Jazz. We got the Atlanta Hawks, Philadelphia 76ers, the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Denver Nuggets, New York Knicks. That one's a little shocking for me to pick because I don't ever go with the Knicks. The Chicago Bulls. I've got the Pelicans to upset the Thunder. I got the Mavericks. I have the Lakers upsetting Portland. And I've got the Golden State Warriors to beat the Washington Wizards.
Who do you see the Knicks upsetting?
The Knicks are playing the Nets, but the Knicks don't have any players right now.
So I'm going to put this in the chat here. This is something that really burned my ass today. Rob Manfred, the worst commissioner in the history of Major League Baseball, has yet had another brain fart. And apparently now they are going to completely instill this rule where starting in any extra innings game, they're going to start with a runner on second base. Like that's now It's not experimental. That's the rule.
I'm going to attempt and get this on screen.
Robbie Manfred, I hate you so much.
There's no world.
I used to
can
think,
understand that.
I honestly used to think Bud Selig was the worst commissioner in the history of baseball. But then Rob Manfred came along, and to quote Ole Anderson when he was talking to Jim Cornette, you know, I used to think you were a dumb fuck, but so many other dumb fucks have come along since you that you've actually managed to rise without doing anything.
Here you go, D. That's the main thing you need to read.
Rob Manfred is the worst commissioner in Major League Baseball history. He has not made one single fucking move that I like or makes sense or helps the game. Everything he has done is antithetical to what he's trying to do. He is the Jim Hurd of goddamn Major League Baseball.
So,
I don't understand this.
So, Cap,
this shit don't make no sense.
Go ahead and explain this for those that don't know about baseball.
Okay, Major League Baseball is 9 innings, and if at the end of 9 innings the score is tied, you go to extra innings.
Fair enough. Just overtime for baseball.
Overtime for baseball, and it's sort of like college. You know, the away team gets in a bat, the home team gets in at bat.
Okay.
But with this, at the start of extra innings in the 10th inning, each team starts with a runner on second base, which is technically called a runner in scoring position because second base is only 180 feet away from home plate. So essentially, if some guy just rips a yard dog, just rips a piss line, just rips a fucking, a ground ball with eyes, and you've got a speedy guy starting out on second, you're going to score a run. And that guy is simply placed there. He didn't hit his way. He didn't get walked. He didn't get hit by a pitch. He's just there.
Yeah, due to this rule, he's just able to be there.
So how are they going to determine who's going to be on second base?
It's the person that just at batted, correct?
No, it's whoever the team is that's up to bat gets to select someone to put on second base.
Anyone.
A runner. And a team is obviously going to pick their fastest guy.
I messaged Cap before we went live. I was like, imagine back in the day looking at Ricky Henderson and going, hey, extra innings just started, so we're just going to put you on second base, okay? Ricky Henderson was known for stealing home, for fuck's sake.
No, that was Ty Cobb and Jackie Robinson.
Oh, yeah.
Ricky was known for stealing second.
Ricky Henderson just had a lot of steals.
Yeah, Ricky Henderson is the all-time career leader in stolen bases, and his record's never going to be touched, especially with the way the game's going now where stolen bases are fast becoming. And I love analytics and sabermetrics, but those two minds of thought really go against the idea of stealing bases, which I get it in certain instances, but when you've got a speedy guy on first, it's easier to steal second than it is to steal any other base because it's the farthest away that the catcher has to throw.
And what I had asked you is like the main practicality about it. Like they're trying to make the game faster, but in that sense, they're kind of dumbing down baseball.
Well, they're just making it longer because they don't understand that if you want to speed up baseball, you need outs because there's no clock on baseball.
Yeah.
To speed up the game, you need outs. And to make outs come more faster and frequent, you need to expand the fields to where it's not just bandboxes where guys can hit dingers. And you also need to enlarge the strike zone so that pitchers can pitch, more inside. They can, when you transition, and this is what happened in the 1920s. You had this radical, when Babe Ruth came along, you had this radical change where the game went from being controlled by the pitcher's mound to the batter's box. And Ken Burns highlights this very well in his documentary on baseball. The power shifted from the pitcher's mound to the batter's box. And we've basically been continuing to add more power in the game to the batter's box for the last 100 years. And it's gotten us to where we are, where the games are fucking longer. There's all these more home runs. It's either home run, strikeout, walk, and it's made the game just inhumanely longer in some cases. Whereas you look in even say 40 years after that, in the 1970s, I think the average game was 2.5 hours. The game now is just shy of the length of an NFL game. If you want to make the game faster, make outs come faster. So we've literally been in this 100-year experiment now in the game of giving the batters more and more and more and more and more, and it's just made the game longer and longer and longer and more insufferable. Start transitioning that power more back to the pitcher's mound and the defense, and you will see games be faster, outs come quicker. And Rob Manfred, he is the Jim Hurd of Major League Baseball. He's trying to accomplish A, but in order to accomplish A, he's doing exactly the opposite of what you should do.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that insufferable prick. Bud Selig, I thought you were the shit. But my God, Manfred makes you look like an all-star.
It's just commissioners in every sport. Adam Silver, Manfred, Roger Goodell. They're all a bunch of morons.
Well, and the sad thing is, we keep putting these. It's almost like Congress and the White House. We keep, electing lower and lower and lower grades of human beings, and we wonder why things continue to suck more and more and more. And it's the same in sports. We put in guys like Silver, Goodell. Well, we don't.
Bless you, Devin.
Thank you. I muted it because it'll be loud.
They put in guys like Silver, Goodell, Manfred, and the game keeps getting worse and worse and worse. But for some reason, we still. It's like South Park. Quit giving Tyler Perry money. Quit electing these idiots. We would have a far better world if, think about, like the All-Star game or the Pro Bowl, the fans elect the players. Let the fans start, electing the commissioners of these leagues, which actually, no, let's not do that because so many fans now just want dingers.
No, let's put Shaquille O'Neal as commissioner of the NBA. Let's put Deion Sanders as commissioner of the NFL. And let's just make Bo Jackson the commissioner of the MLB.
Oh, Christ.
Oh.
If I could, and here's another thing.
No. We'll put Mark McGwire as the commissioner of the MLB.
Well, that's never going to fly, but you notice there is not a single manager of a major league team who was a pitcher.
No.
The only guys they ever make managers are former hitters.
Yep.
Is Verlander still playing?
Yep, he got traded to the Mets.
How long ago was that?
A couple months ago. The Mets, the Mets traded Jacob deGrom to the Rangers, but now the Mets have Verlander and Scherzer as their 1-2 in their rotation.
Verlander and Scherzer just follow each other, don't they?
Well, it's not going to matter because last year the Mets set the Mets now hold two of the most embarrassing records in the history of baseball. Last year, they won 101 games. They led the National League East for something like whatever the record is for the most days ever and still lost. The Braves won the division. They came back from 10.5 down in August to win the National League East. So the Mets blew the latest division lead in baseball history. And they also have the distinction of the 1964 Mets of still being the worst team in the history of baseball, having lost 142 games, I believe.
Oh, my.
Ooh.
So they were the worst
Wow.
team. That was their inaugural season. They were the worst team ever up until that point, and no team has ever sucked as bad since.
Yeah,
and last year, they led the division for damn near the entire season and still blew it. That is Metting for you.
Let's go Mets. Woo, gotta love the Mets.
Meet the Mets. To quote Casey Stengel, whenever he was the great manager of the New York Yankees in the 1950s. He was the inaugural manager of the New York Mets when the expansion happened. And this is Casey, who won multiple World Series with Yogi Berra, Mickey Mantle, Joe DiMaggio. This guy managed the greatest of the great. And he said, this team, the Mets, has taught me ways to lose games that I didn't even know existed. And also, the 64 Mets, to this day, here's another record. I'll throw a third one out there. They are the only team in history to trade a player who was eventually traded back. They traded for a catcher from, I forget who they traded it from, but this guy proved to be so goddamn inept. He was traded for him and a player to be named later. He was the player to be named later. He was traded back because he was so fucking awful. That is the legacy of failure of the Mets.
I think would you consider the Bobby Bonilla Day a record that the Mets hold as well?
There's another one. Bobby Bonilla Day.
Devin, they are paying that man until he is 72 years old.
I think I remember seeing that.
He signed a huge free agent contract, but he was so fucking bad that they were like, you know what? We're just going to cut our losses and we're going to pay you $1 million a year plus interest for the next
1.1 million
20 years, something like that.
Yeah, the smartest man to ever play MLB history is playing the Mets. He does not have to step on the field, and he will continue to grow as a millionaire.
July 4th is Independence Day. July 1st is Bobby Bonilla Day.
That's fucking great.
There's a whole ass day for it, and it's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, as it should be. The Mets are throwing themselves into history, but not in a good way. None of these history-breaking things they're doing is just building up their franchise as the worst.
Except for the 86 season, which was the Buckner series against the Red Sox, when the Mets won the World Series. That was the Buckner ball that went through the first baseman's legs. But that team had more felons on it than it probably had pitchers. There's a great book. I've got it over here in my library. It's called The Bad Guys Won. And it's the story of the 1986 New York Mets and how basically that team was nothing but the scoundrels, felons. I mean, every guy on this team pretty much was an absolute, reprobate. And they won the World Series because they wound up playing a Boston Red Sox team that just happened to have Bill Buckner at first base.
When I come up, Cap, I got to give that book a read. I didn't know about that one.
Yeah, well, the story goes Al Michaels was he was part of the broadcasting team the night, and the Red Sox were out to a lead, and they were setting up the champagne, setting up the trophy, and little by little by little by little, the Red Sox start blowing this lead in the World Series, and eventually it gets to the end of the game, and they start like taking everything out and pulling everything out of the Red Sox locker room and taking it to the Mets locker room so that the players from the Red Sox don't see, it was the great scatter. It was like, moving the set at the halftime show, because they're like, oh shit, the Red Sox blew this. We got to get the trophy and the champagne and everything out of here.
Opening day, is that when we're claiming our baseball teams?
That's draft day. That's the 25th of March. Opening day is the 30th.
Okay.
And that's when we're going to be joined by U-Tree, and we're also going to be doing we're still getting the details together, but going to be doing a bit of a fundraiser from one of our favorite causes.
I'm very excited.
Yeah. You guys, I've gotten the chance to chat with Tree and do shows with him before. He is a hoot. And he's a long-suffering Pittsburgh Pirate fan because they have arguably the worst owner in the game, and he can he's put out several videos on his YouTube channel about the Pirates' misgivings.
It's gonna be fun. We've got a lot planned for the channel. We have a lot planned for the channel.
So yeah, we got Elimination Chamber this Saturday. We got March Madness coming up. We got the fantasy baseball draft opening day, NFL draft.
I ain't got to worry about day one.
WrestleMania. What?
I don't got to worry about day one of the draft. That's for damn sure.
No,
So are we gonna?
You can just sit back.
Are we gonna try to do 2 streams back to back for night 1 and night 2 of Mania?
Yeah.
Or are we gonna do a collective night 2 roundup of night 1?
No, this will be night 1 and night 2.
Night 1 and night 2, and hopefully we'll be able to get some extra faces on for that.
Well, let's also not forget an old friend of ours is joining us for Chamber, Mr. Nicholas Edwards.
Nick.
I am so excited to do a show.
Everyone loves Nick.
I'm excited, and I'm pretty sure Nick's excited to be back with us as well.
My favorite Brit.
And
Nick
then
Edwards,
we're going to be
watching.
And then we're going to be joining a Wrestle Legion next Sunday.
Yeah, we're supposed to. Yeah, we're going to do. We're going to come on to Wrestling Legion show the following day, I believe, for the Chamber recap.
Yeah, the RAWBall boys, we are busy as hell coming up.
And I'm still trying to get in touch with our old buddy Dan to get our Premier League show off the ground, which he hasn't responded to me yet today. But hopefully we can get Dan on board to start doing our weekly Premier League show because he's as big a fan of UK soccer as I am. But
I can't wait to come on in my jersey and my helmet. I've got my handbag ready and everything. Ready to watch some football, boys.
It's your kit.
My what?
My what?
Soccer, it's your kit, and they don't have helmets.
What?
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 We have been going for 2 hours, boys. I say this is a damn good first episode of the podcast.
I agree.
That's how they're all going to go.
We got everything we needed in and a little bit more. Cap, is there anything you want to say? We plugged pretty much what we're doing for the next couple weeks.
Yep. Chamber this Saturday. Coverage is going to start at 6:30 p.m. And then every Monday here at 4:30 on the RAWBall pod. And obviously, if you look at the ticker, all of the events coming up we're going to be doing.
I will update it and get the Super Bowl off of there.
Yeah, that happened yesterday. But that's pretty much all I've got at this time. Just looking forward to everything we've got going this spring and ready for some WrestleMania, for some wrestling, some baseball coming up. It's my favorite.
I'm ready to lose $50 in this league. I'm ready.
I'm ready to make some money with bets. So
the purveyor of shit bets. Yeah, he may lose in the league, but he'll make his money back. And obviously, we're going to be covering some baseball games whenever our teams play each other. You know,
there will be 75 home runs hit this season.
Battle of the Sox, Cardinals and Red Sox, Cardinals, White Sox. Going to be interesting. I have not much faith in my team. Maddie has even less faith in his, and Devin's actually the one who's been pretty because I was actually kind of working out my preseason previews. I think the Cardinals are going to take the NL Central.
I sure hope so.
The Cardinals did pretty well last season, didn't they?
The Brewers are their only real competition, but
they're still a solid team, though.
The Brewers are a solid team, but at the same, the Brewers don't have the bats that the Cardinals do.
It's their pitching that keeps the Brewers ahead.
Yeah, and the Cardinals just seem to have just enough pitching, but far better bats and defense. So I think the Cardinals are.
They're without Pujols and Yachty now.
Yeah,
but those are two of the
I still think
bats,
they take the Central. Unless some kind of just cataclysmic thing occurs, I see them taking the Central. The Cubs, I don't think are much. The Pirates are dog shit, and the Reds, the Reds are kind of a wild card there. But the Reds self-destruct.
I just hope the Rockies have a fun time.
Well, you guys are in the NL West, and you basically have the Dodgers and Giants to contend with. which
The
is
Rockies,
not an
the
advantageous
Rockies will
position.
never get to where they were in 2006.
That was a miracle run. I still to this day, that was just one of those. That was like the A's going on that win streak in
Ubaldo
2003.
Jimenez.
Yeah,
I think he had 21 wins that season.
Yeah,
It's insane.
Well, here the Rockies' problem is the fact that they play where they do, and that stadium is so small, and it's up in the altitude that they shoot themselves in the foot because of the fact that it's such a bandbox. And I've seen that stadium before.
And it's so crowded. Everything's around it that it's impossible to try to get there.
Well, I'm just saying,
it's easy to get there.
Since it's such a small stadium, it's the most advantageous hitters park in all of Major League Baseball.
Oh yeah,
and that's why you a lot of times don't see guys from the Rockies like this year in the Hall of Fame voting. One of the guys didn't get in because he played for the Rockies for so long.
Yeah, it was Todd Helton, wasn't it?
Yep, Todd Helton. And it gives such a tremendous advantage to hitters. And
yeah,
look at
the funny thing about that is Todd Helton doesn't have like a ridiculous home run total.
No, but I mean, he had what would normally be considered a great career, but he played in Colorado. I mean, look at Troy Tulowitzki when he played in Colorado. He was arguably the best shortstop in the game.
But Carlos Gonzalez was hurt.
Yeah. Cargo didn't have the best run there, if I remember. He got traded from the Brewers, right?
No, actually, I think Cargo came up through the farm leagues.
And then he got traded to the Brewers. Yeah. Cargo couldn't stay healthy wherever he was. He couldn't stay healthy.
I was going to say because he always played at like breakneck speed.
And then you guys traded Nolan Arenado for peanuts to the Cardinals.
Which don't you still have him, Devin?
Arguably,
I think so.
The greatest defensive third baseman since Brooks Robinson over there.
And he's got one hell of a bat too.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. In fact, if Arenado, I think he's got 9. I think he's got 9 or 10 Gold Gloves, and he's old enough that if he played, he could very well tie or eclipse Brooks for Gold Gloves at third base. Maddox has 18 as a pitcher, but as far as a position player, Brooks has 16. So Arenado could. He only needs 9 more to tie Brooks, which he's got 9 years left in him.
Yeah,
a little bit of history for you folks there.
I think his contract is pretty big too. Like he's out there for a little bit.
Well, yeah, but I mean, still, defense doesn't go away. I mean, Nolan Arenado is, in my opinion, from what just my eyeballs, is the best defensive third baseman since Brooks. And if he plays long enough, he's going to win Gold Glove third baseman every year.
Yeah, especially in the NL, I think.
Well, I think also the guy who took over for him came close to winning a Gold Glove. Ryan McMahon, who plays for Colorado.
Yeah, I was about to say he was really good for us.
Well, he's a tremendous glove. He just can't hit the broadside of a barn.
Nope.
Oh yeah.
All right. Anything else to add, boys, before we close up shop and meet back for Chamber Saturday?
No, not that I know of. I'm gonna try to start covering some UFC. That's the only thing I can think of is I'm gonna try to start covering some fights. Look at the logistics of that.
You have got to have the poofiest hair of any man I've ever literally your hair, like from your top of your forehead to the top, like that's a good 4 or 5 inches.
Yeah.
I mean that's.
Wait till the fro comes back, ladies and gentlemen. It will be bad.
The fro is going to be hilarious to see on camera.
I just want, whenever it comes time for Halloween, I want you to dress up as Brother Love.
Oh, don't worry. You're going to see some Brother D on the stream.
I love you.
You're going to start seeing some Brother D. I'm going to get a suit. We get the whole 9 out.
Red shirt, white tie.
That
you gotta get the face and
the obnoxious accent.
Get those righteous gemstones going.
That thing that you had sent us, Cap. I was going through the comments.
Yeah.
And one of them was Pritchard, I guess, had covered it on something to wrestle with.
Yeah.
And during it, he's like, when I jumped into Taker's arms, he literally whispered in my ear, "I'm not holding you."
That's great.
Well, the other thing was, I remember from that interview, and Conrad asked him, "Were you nervous? Taking the tombstone?" He was like, "Nah, Taker. I didn't feel a thing."
Oh yeah, I was about to say Taker would have taken damn good care of Pritchard.
Yeah. Well, the fact that they were, I don't know. I can't remember if Taker knew Pritchard was coming out of the box or not, but they were
It did look like a genuine rib.
They were trying to make Taker break character, and you could see during several times he came pretty close to just cracking the fuck up, but he maintained. So that's why I think it was a rib on Taker to try and get him to break character.
The
If he
amount of
sees
times,
Bruce Pritchard, his brother Love, jumping
the
on
amount
him,
of times that they've tried to rib Taker on TV.
it never worked. Never.
Class act.
Kayfabe.
All right. Well,
Alrighty.
Oh, did you hear
Yeah.
Taker's he's taking his one-man show to Vegas.
he's
Oh,
doing a one-man show.
He's taking his one-man show to Vegas. But here's the thing. It's like a lot of concerts now where you have to lock up your cell phone before you go in. No cell phones are allowed. Like comedy shows, concerts, you can't take your cell phone in. They lock it up in a bag that you can't
fair.
undo unless you go like outside the building. So no cell phone videos.
That's
People are gonna find ways.
ridiculous.
I've been to several of those concerts, man, and I've never seen anyone able to sneak a cell phone out. You can't open those fucking bags unless you just take a knife and do it.
That's what I was thinking. Is people?
Well,
just
modern
bringing in a
technology, you can have a beanie with a camera recording, and it's like a GoPro, and they won't be able to see something like that.
knife. Damn it, Devin!
Yeah, quit being such a spoiled sport.
Yeah, you fucking narc.
That's why you're the little brother.
All right. But with that being said, this is the first episode of the RAWBall podcast. Thank you guys for joining us. And thank you to Cap. Thank you to Devin. We're going to keep going. Stay
Yes,
safe.
sir.
Go.
Stay healthy. Stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated.
And we will see you guys on Saturday for the Elimination Chamber.
Woo!
Woo!